Hello, folks. Welcome to number 4 in our 4-part series on PIM systems. If you've made it this far through the whole sequence, congratulations, you get a gold star. Last but not least, we're going to talk about a distribution company. So in the previous 2, we talked about a manufacturer of HVAC parts. We talked about that wants to integrate their product data with the distribution companies. And then we talked about a medical device company that wants to self-service their own catalogs for their sales rep. So it's using a PIM for a sales enablement process. And lastly, but not least, distribution. So if you are a distribution company, you're going to want to listen to this, and you're not using a PIM, you're going to want to listen to this. If you're not sure what a distribution company is, a lot of people don't really understand. Essentially, a distribution company is the company that collects all the products from the manufacturers and then sends them out to the buyers. So this might be another retail shop who buys from distribution and ends up on the shelves of a brick and mortar store. The distribution company might be their own brick and mortar store. And then sometimes manufacturers are also distributors themselves. So there's a lot of hybrid companies out there. So this is all the stuff we talk about when we talk about supply chain. So supply chain is essentially like taking raw materials, making those into parts. Somebody assemble those parts into components. Someone takes those components and puts them into a product. And then that product goes out to distribution. But guess what? Also, the parts go out to distribution. So there's lots of overlapping pieces of this. But essentially what a distribution company is it intakes products and then it pushes products out. So a PIM system is, I would say, critical for any kind of distributor, even a small distributor. Most of the big boy distributors, think Grainger, they already have these things in place, probably have for years. But there's a lot of regional distributors that don't have this kind of sophisticated system in place. So I'm going to give you a scenario here with this made-up company called Proline Distribution and how a PIM system might help them. So Proline. Proline is a distributor of home improvement and hardware products. So think of like HVAC components, some plumbing stuff, some lighting, some tools, right? They source products from, to keep it simple, 10 different suppliers. To be honest, there's distributors that bring in products, hundreds of different suppliers, but just for the sake of this demonstration or this scenario, we're going to do 10 suppliers. And then they sell through multiple websites, B2B portals, and B2B marketing places like Home Depot or Lowe's. So they collect these products, they sell some themselves, they push them out through other channels, and they also have deals with other businesses that want to buy stuff from them through a portal, and those might be wholesale prices. So again, distributors can sell products to different people in different ways depending on that business relationship. This will help them organize all that product data in a single system, single source of truth. Now, people might ask and think, well, we already do this in our ERP system. Well, frankly, ERP systems, this is going to overload them. And they're not designed to do this type of work natively. So when people first built ERP systems, it was either for a manufacturing process or some kind of accounting process. It wasn't necessarily for product information management processes. So even if you have a ERP, you're going to still want one of these PIM systems, depending on the size of your business and what you're doing. But anyway, many of these just distribution companies have both, and I would recommend that's a really good way to do it. You want to segment your ERP and let the ERP do what the ERP does and the PIM do what the PIM does. So anyway, so before this company, this hypothetical company, distributor, had a PIM system, the suppliers would send them spreadsheets, PDFs, XML files. They would all come in different, and they wouldn't all look alike. And they would just drop them. The distributor would just have to drop them on a SharePoint drive or a shared drive or one of their internal systems, Dropbox, etc. And then the marketing and IT department would spend hours getting this product data cleaned and formatted and prepared for their sales channels. So now they have the product data. They might have the physical products, but they want to sell them. And before they can sell them, they need to describe on their website or wherever the product's going out what this product is. So this manual process led to a lot of duplication of efforts, a lot of manual errors, and a lot of complexities and a complete lack of automation. Once they have the PIM in place, now they can create flows that have been customized per supplier. So let's just say let's take one of those suppliers as an example. They're sending you an Excel sheet whenever you're asking for it. And that Excel sheet looks pretty much the same. You create an import function for that Excel sheet, and that import zips it straight into your PIM. Now that supplier's data is in your PIM. If for whatever reason that supplier was missing some data, your PIM system is going to flag it and say, go back to the supplier and get this data. If the supplier doesn't give you that data, you say, hey, I'm going to stop buying from you until you fill out these fields. And you can actually throw that responsibility back on the supplier, depending on how much leverage you have. But it gets very quickly identifies gaps in your data that you're going to need to have in order to get this out to your sales channels. So once that one is in place, you can go supplier by supplier by supplier and start to normalize the data intake and automate that data intake. Now, something that's super slick that's coming is if your supplier also has a PIM and you have a PIM, you can just set up an API call and that data zaps right over. No emails, no uploads, no manual imports. Just when it's ready, API sends it. There might be some indication on the PIM system that new data has come in. Maybe there's an approval process for it, but you've just eliminated a lot of manual steps. And then let's say your distribution company has a marketing department or a product enrichment process where they want to take that product data and enhance it with their own language, right? So you're a known distributor or retailer of these products and you want to describe them in a unique way, maybe for SEO reasons or your own reasons. You can do that within the PIM and you can use that in your websites. But now you're also, all your product data is centralized. You're also sending it to Home Depot or Supply House or some other company, and they need these boxes filled in. You can fill those boxes in the PIM. Again, single source of truth, that all the data goes in there. And then only Home Depot gets what they need. Only Lowe's gets what they need. Only Amazon gets what they need. And you can do it all in one spot. And it saves you tons of time and just cuts down on all kinds of errors. And then again, the channel specific product information. So supplier onboard, product enrichments, channel specific product feeds. I touched on all that. So the results are basically cuts down on supplier onboarding too. You bring in a new supplier, you say, this is our system here. Give us the data in this way. You can start to regulate, like you can present exports from the PIM that has the product data formatted the way you need it. You might even be able to write a script to map a supplier's data to your formatted data the way you require it. So like changing those field names or whatever. And then you can also make your supplier format it to your requirements. And once that's done, now you're cooking with gas. Everything just starts to flow in. And then, again, I touched on how different retailers need different things. So those are the results of this. I think I explained them fairly well. Now, what happens in the future? Well, not only is this going to become standard practice, I think, having a PIM system for anyone in the supply chain, but there'll start to be other things that people will start adding to this. And now you're ready for that. Maybe you want to have product reviews in the PIM system so that your manufacturer has reviews of those products, those can come into the distribution, and now you can push those out to your own web store or those other retailers. That's all coming. But I would say if you're not on a PIM system yet and you're a distributor, you need to get on one and talk to us. So if you're interested or want to learn more, not every PIM system is a good fit for every business, and there's tons of them out there. So talk to us at Verado, and we'll help you with that decision-making process. We can put you in touch with the technology providers, those different PIM technology providers, and also the implementers and the data normalization businesses too. So basically there's like 3 steps to this. You have to get the PIM in place and know that there's a need for it. Then you have to look at the current state of your data. I would say maybe do that first. Current state of data, where do you have it? Then you have to do an assessment of how long it's going to take to get that data into this PIM system. And then you're going to have to, the third step would be to train people up on the PIM system internally, and then also reach out to your buyers and those channels and get those integration pieces to work so everything starts to automate and flow. That might require a systems integration partner to help you build out this system. But once a few of those pieces are in place and the team is trained up, sometimes you're just cooking with gas and you can do this stuff yourself. But if you want to know more about that, how it works, partners, technology providers, reach out to us at Verado. And again, this illustration just talks about what I had just mentioned. So supplier data goes into the PIM data goes out to the buying channels. Everything we just talked about. And that is it. I wanted to make this fast. I think I went pretty fast. And again, PIM systems, multiple different uses. This was the last in the series, but again, we did a manufacturer of HVAC stuff scenario, a medical device and sales team scenario, and this was our distribution scenario. I hope this was helpful. Again, my name is Matt Harris. The podcast is Verado. Reach out to us if you have any questions, insights, or, just want to say, hey, catch us where you catch your podcast and check us out on YouTube. Thank you.